Broadsword calling Danny Boy.
Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Today we're looking at Sol 613. Interesting one, this. This has got some weird stuff in it. You're going to like this one. It's from the French website, which is Mars Rovers Images site. I'll have the link in the description as usual. And what they do is they get a lot of the rover images from the mass cam and they stitch them all together in these nice sort of large formats, sort of panoramics and stuff like that. This one I've linked to here. It will be the high res one, which is 16.6 meg, which is big but not good. It's not going to blow your computer up. There won't be any smoke piling out of it with that. So we'll crack straight on with it. Now I'm going to show you this in Paintshop Pro. Now, one thing struck me before we start here. One thing struck me was rather odd about this image. It looks like this picture was taken not by the rover, and you can see the tracks coming up to where it's driven up to this sort of ledge here, and it's sort of looking at Mount Sharp in the background there, over to the right there. But we've got a lot of lens barrel distortion here because this is an image stitch made up of multiple images, and you can see around the edge here it's quite distorted and curved. Okay, but what I did find a little bit hard to get my head around is how did it manage to take an image off itself without actually getting the arm cam or something sticking off the edge of this image? Do you see what I mean? I could be just having a sort of seizure here or something, but that confused the hell out of me to start with. But I think it is possible, but it just does seem rather strange that they managed to take a complete photo of themselves doing a selfie here without having at least an arm sticking up towards the edge of the image or something. I mean, it looks like an external image taken from a third party. That was weird. You may have, some of you guys out there may have an explanation for this. I haven't quite worked it out yet, but that's not really the main thing I'm worried about in this image. The main thing that I noticed straight away when you get in close, and I'll zoom in, is that there seems to be a plague of, or a small swarm, or a whole bunch of insects in this image. And now I have done videos before and mentioned about the image artifacts in the mass cam images. There are a few missing pixels in the mass cam images, and a lot of people have mistaken them for birds or UFOs, and they usually appear as black dots, much like this. And in fact, you can see this one here. See this oval shaped one here. You can see it appearing again up here, exactly the same shape, and you'll see it again further up. Okay, now obviously there's another one. This is the main one that appears in many mass cam images. So the problem is with this image, you've got to try and work out which ones are the normal missing pixels, and you can see them because you can map them because they're the same size each time. There he is there. There he is there. Same size, same shape. And it should appear the same size, same shape, and sort of density. There he is again. It's like a little oval shape. Okay, so bear that in mind. Now this is made up of a whole bunch of images, not loads, but quite a few. So that little oval black blob will appear quite a lot. But bearing that in mind, there are still a hell of a lot of strange things in this image. There seem to be loads and loads of little specks, black specks, all over the place. They're all over this image. Some of them are smaller and further away. Some of them are more elongated, like this one. Now, some of these are image artifacts. I know that some of these are missing pixels, and some of them could be accounted for there, but not this many. They are all over this image. Black dots, I think that's a missing pixel there. You can tell the missing pixels because they are practically completely black and a similar shape each time. I think that's another one. But there's loads of these things, and some of them are quite small, and they're all over the place. That's a missing pixel, that one, because it's too black. Not sure about that one. That's probably a missing pixel because that's also black. But there's loads of them which aren't black, which are kind of like blurred and sort of specks, like insects flying around. They're all over this image. I'll try and show you them. It's a bit hard to show them because they are quite small, and they may well be insects. They may well be flies. Now, this is near the bottom of Mount Sharp, and this may have some water in it here. This riverbed at the bottom of Mount Sharp. Now, I've clipped the top of the image off here, and I've darkened it up so we can have a proper look at it. And even in this top part, you can see loads of little specks here. See these black specks? Ignore this one, ignore that one. But look at all these up here. They're all over it. It's like a swarm of flies. Literally just above the rover. And what it may be is mosquitoes or flies or some other insect that have been disturbed by the rover as it's come along this riverbank. And it is a riverbank. Now, I don't know whether NASA have ever said this, but I think they claim that there's no water, or very, very little water on Mars. Only 2%, I think they've said recently. They found 2% whilst drilling in a pebble. Right, okay. They've been there since 1978, and they've only just ascertained that it's 2% water in a pebble. And it's taken them how long? How many years is that since 78? A lot of years. That's 30 odd years it's taken them. I won't work that out right now because I want to get on with this. But it's taken them nearly 40 years to work out that there's only 2% water on Mars. Right, okay. We believe you. Okay, now, take a look at these rover tracks. Now, what struck me about these, and this is common in a lot of the rover images, is that the tracks are much, much darker than the surrounding sand. Now, why would that be? Would it be because there's a different colour sand underneath? And there's a lighter colour sand on top? Could be. But could it also be the fact that this sand underneath is actually damp? And a lot of it seems to be sticking to the rover wheels. Other people have mentioned this before. The rover wheels always seem to be caked in this stuff. Now, if that was perfectly dry, dusty sand with hardly, a minuscule amount of water in it, almost bone dry sand, would it be sticking to the rover wheels so well? I don't think so. And a lot of people have kind of hinted on this before in other videos. And when you look at the enhanced version I got here, now all I've done is darken this and up the contrast, nothing else. So it's a real basic enhancement I've done here. Now, look how different in darkness these tracks are to the surrounding sand. Look at the difference in luminosity here. Look how dark that is. Now that to me looks like a vehicle that's driven through damp sand, and there is water present underneath this sand. When you walk on a beach, and when you're further up the beach and you're walking on dry sand, your footprints are the same colour as the surrounding sand because there's no water and there's no water retention in the sand to hold the shape of your footprint. So you get a very, very shallow, well not shallow, but you get a very vague footprint, and there's no separate colour to it. It's the same luminosity as the surrounding sand. This sand here is way, way darker than the sand on top, and this may well be down to the fact that there is water underneath this sand, and it is damp. I'm not saying it's soaking wet, I'm not saying there's running water here, but I'm saying it's damp, and we are right on the river bank at the bottom of Mount Sharp here. And not only that, there are what seem to be a whole swarm of insects flying around. Now, insects often breed in damp areas, as mosquitoes do. Many types of insects rely on damp areas to breed, to lay their larvae. And they're everywhere. Now, I know that some of these are image artifacts. I've said that from the start. This one here is. The really black ones are missing pixels. That's a black one, okay? But a lot of the ones here are not actually black. They're sort of smaller. They're dotted all over the place. They're sort of brown. I know I've enhanced this a little bit, just darkened it up a bit, just so you can see this. I'll show you it in negative as well in a second. But a lot of these are not black. They're sort of a brownish colour, and they seem to have motion blur as well, which means that they're probably moving around and flying about. Okay? A lot of them have got motion blur, and they seem to be moving around. Now, they're all over it. Now, I can't really get across how many there are in here. There are probably hundreds and hundreds of these little specks all over this image. I'll try and show you it in the photo viewer here in negative. I've negged it up and darkened it right up as well. And I'll see if now they look like stars now because it's gone blue. They're all over the place. And yes, some of them are missing pixels. I know. But there's far too many here just to be missing pixels. They're all over this image. They're all over the place. They're below the horizon, they're above the horizon. They're all over the image, and there's even some on the actual rover by the looks of it, or just in front of it. There's lots of little specks here. Now I know some of these are missing pixels, but these things are everywhere. It's pretty cool in there too, actually. And how did it manage to take a photograph of itself without getting, at least in one part of the image, the arm cam or the mass cam in the going off the edge of the frame of the picture? How did it do that? Call me stupid, maybe, yeah. But I'm struggling a little bit with this here. It's almost like they've edited it out. I mean, you'd have thought that the mass cam or the arm cam would have come out to the edge here, and you'd actually see it clipped off where it's had to take a photo from a funny angle to get itself in, if you see what I mean. So, could do with a bit of help on this, guys. I'm really not sure, but look at all these little dots everywhere. They're all over the place, and they're not all missing pixels. There cannot possibly be that many missing pixels. Look at them all. They're all over the place. There's loads of them. The whole thing is surrounded by what could be construed as a swarm of insects, in what could also be construed as some damp sand next to the riverbed at the bottom of Mount Sharp. Let's go back to there. Let's have another look in here. See, look at all these black dots here. They're not black, they're sort of dark dots. And these are not all missing pixels, I guarantee you, because I've already done an image map of where the missing pixels are in each and every mass cam image. So I know I've actually got a very good map of these, and there are a few, and they're pretty obvious when you look at them because they're the same shape every time, and they're very black. They're just like a black hole. So those are missing pixels, okay? But the rest of them are not, and all over the place, and they seem to be. I know that this has got a heavy amount of lens barrel distortion here because it's a distorted image where the way it's been put together. So some of them look kind of longer maybe, but I'm pretty sure some of these are moving around. And sorry, I'll stop zooming in and out so much there. There also seems to be some interesting stuff in the riverbed at the bottom here. I haven't clipped any of this out yet. I think there's another boat in here. Let me see if I can pick it out for you. It's here somewhere. I've rotated the image to the left as well to try and overcome some of the distortion. Where is it? I can't find it now. Typical. There were some interesting structures in here. Now up here. Okay. There's some diagonal lines coming down here, and there seems to be some little domes and strange things up here. What I'll do is I'll clip those out, and if it's anything significant, I'll put it in the end of the video. If not, I'll leave it. I haven't really done a proper scan of this riverside here, and I'm sure there's some interesting stuff in there, as I've found so many boats and wrecks in this area. I'll have to give it a really close inspection. But yeah, look at all these black dots. There's loads down here as well. See them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Dark coloured dots everywhere. There's a bunch of them there. There's loads of them up here. just up here. You can see them. Ignore that one there. There's a load up the top. There's a whole bunch of them up here. I don't know if you can see this on screen. Let's go darker. I don't know if that actually helps. But yeah, there is a whole bunch of them up here. Real mess. It's like it's driven into a swarm of flies. That's what it looks like. And it may well have disturbed some as it drove up to here. Very near a sort of river bank. Ancient river bank. There may even be some running water left down there. It's very, very low down in this area. This is miles down. It's not the lowest part of Gale Crater, but it's one of the lowest parts. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be some running water down there somewhere. A lot of people think this is all running water here, but there's no reflection. So there are in some areas reflective parts. You can see some of the rocks reflected below, which means there may be some running water, but I'm not completely convinced about that yet because I haven't found any really good reflections of these rocks or banks or anything yet, but I'm sure I will, especially when we get to the deeper part. Okay, thanks for watching everyone. Hope that wasn't too long. See you soon.